So this is my first time going live inside the GLC app. So we're testing the water. Please God, this is all going to go smoothly. And if it doesn't, then there's a lesson there. So either way, this is going to be worth our while. The idea is that I'm going to be coming on over to the app probably weekly, maybe every 2 weeks, and giving you guys just like a little taste of yoga. So we thought instead of doing the full hour, I know a lot, if not all, of Gemma's followers are high energy. So I think the idea of like hourly yoga maybe scares some of you off. So that's why we thought, okay, so why don't we play around with like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, which is a lot what I do actually on my online offering. So I have a meditation podcast, which is never any longer than 10 minutes. It always includes a little bit of movement and breathing techniques, something to kind of keep you present and stimulated, because I think it can be quite scary for people to just be like sat left alone with their thoughts, me included. So I'm just going to hope for the best. I'm going to do a yoga class. It's what I came here to do. And yeah, with that said, let's just do it. So making my way over onto the mat, and do what you need to do to get comfortable here. We're just going to start with a short grounding meditation. So yeah, most important thing is that you're sat in a spot that feels natural. So legs crossed doesn't suit everyone. You might prefer to have your legs out long. You might have your legs sprawled off to one side. What I do want you to focus on is what's happening with your upper body. So we're not just slouched and hanging out. We want to sit with intention. So sit nice and tall. Relax your shoulders. Think about broadening through the collarbones. The heart space is nice and open. And then I invite you to close down your eyes. And we're going to mark the start of our practice with a few rounds of releasing breaths. So just as a way to exhale any stress, any tension that may be residing and hiding in the body this morning. So together, let's draw the breath in through the nose. And then we'll let it go. And let's take just one more for a good look, for good measure. And just literally let that exhale fall out of you. Doesn't matter how it sounds, focus on how it feels. And now just sit as you are, observing everything as it is, allowing the breath to just flow naturally at its own rhythm and pace. And just check in and ask yourself, how do I feel? So maybe the body can give you some clues, some insight. Start to kind of scan the body for sensation. What's happening in the hips? So the hips is a place that we tend to store fear, worry, and emotions like that. Or maybe you decide to notice what's happening in and around the chest and the shoulders. Is there any unnecessary kind of holding and tensing there? Could you just drop the shoulders a little heavier and soften around the edges? And I invite you now to bring a little movement into your body. So just start to maybe rock side to side. Maybe you wind the waist around in circles. And feel free to peek the eyes open, but I want you to kind of find your own way here. So don't base your movement on what you think it could or should look like, or even what mine looks like. Mine looks a little bit different every time I practice this because it's a moving meditation. It completely depends on what's cooking and stirring emotionally and energetically. That's what kind of defines this movement. That's what's going to lead it, inspire it. So just lose yourself, find your way here in this moving meditation. You can even involve the arms and the legs, like you do you. And the beauty is, I'm guessing most of you are at the comfort of your own homes, like myself this morning, so you can just let all that weirdness out. Doesn't matter how this looks. So get creative, get silly. Okay, we're then going to bring ourselves back into a comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall. We're then going to bring the hands together at heart center and start to rub the hands together. As we do this, we generate a little bit of warmth. We feel this tingling energy start to rise. Eyes are still closed, gaze is inwards. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the hands and cup them over the face. Just pause here. And then getting ready to revisit that exhale, the cleanse of the breath. As we cleanse, we're going to move the hands away and open up the eyes. So deep breath in. And then let it go. Open the eyes, just float the arms down slowly. And your eyes are open now with an inhale. We're going to scoop up the arms, bring the hands together. Exhale, hands down through heart center. And now from here, you're going to extend the right leg out long. Take hold of this left leg, bending the left knee, crossing it over, stamp the left foot down. And then you might just want to reshuffle in your seat here, flexing the toes of the right foot. So we're already activating through the back of that leg. Now the left hand is going to come out behind you. Inhale, we're going to sweep the right arm up. And then using the exhale to enter a twist. So we're just hugging the left knee in with the right hand and looking out behind the left shoulder. We're going to spend a few breaths here. So we inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, looking out behind that left shoulder. One more breath like that. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, twisting deep. Now you're going to swing around out of the pose. Just take a little counter twist to the other side. You're then going to bring the hands down just to frame your body, so just either side of you. And then see if you can stack this left knee on top of the right. So rather than being on the flat part of your foot, you're now on the edge, the pinky edge of the foot. We're going to inhale again. We feel a surge of energy. Rise up the spine with the inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to forward fold. So you're just thinking about kind of resting the torso, drawing the torso over the tops of the legs and drawing the crown of the head forwards. So from a side, just to give you another kind of indication of how the pose looks, we're forward folding, not downwards folding. So it's not about how low can I get into the towards the ground. You're thinking crown of the head being pulled forwards. And what's important here is that we keep the flex of the right foot active so that we are getting the most out of the stretch. You should feel this in the calf and the hamstring. And what's key in yoga is that when the mind starts to wander, we come back to the breath. So just keep noticing your breath whenever your attention has been misdirected. Without hesitation, bring your awareness back to the breath, and through the breath we regain access into the body. So let's just be here for one more. And then we're going to roll up and out of the forward fold. You're going to take hold of that left foot with the right hand. You're going to pick the leg up. Now with this arm, you have this left arm free. You're going to thread it underneath the left leg. And then we're just going to swing this leg slowly side to side. So in yoga, we call this cradling the baby. So think of it as this really kind of self-soothing moment. And it's a nice way to just kind of juice up those hips, lubricate those hips, if you will. And just let your breath be nice and fluid behind the scenes. One more breath here. Good, and then let's take it to the other side. So extend your left leg out, shuffle about in your seat so we're equally distributing the weight down to the sit bones. Bring the right knee in towards you. We're bending the right knee, pick it up, cross it over. So flatten out through the right foot. Switch on the left toes, point them towards you. Right fingertips out behind. Inhale, reach the left arm up, eyes to the sky. And then as you exhale, take a twist, hug the knee in and looking out over the back of this right shoulder. Now, for some people, you might want to be on the fingertips of this right hand, the hand supporting you, just to create an extra little bit of lift and height. And this all just depends on how we're built. Some of us have longer arms, some of us have the shorter arms. So always adapting the pose to suit you. Okay, take what you need. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Use the breath to really enhance your experience of the pose. 1 more, we're here. As you inhale, we sit a little bit taller. As you exhale, we twist a little bit deeper. And then exit the pose, swing the arms around in front of you. Take a little counter twist to the other side, bending the elbows. And then swinging back around to face forwards. And let's see again, can we stack the knee? So we come onto the edge, the pinky edge of that right foot. And it doesn't matter if yours looks a little bit different to mine. So just find your version of the pose. And then we move our way into the fold. So we inhale, feel a surge of energy rise up the body. And then using the exhale to forward fold. So we're thinking of drawing the tummy towards the top of the thigh and the crown of the head forwards. And maybe you take this as an opportunity to close down the eyes, slow everything down. And keep coming back to that little scan of the body. Scan the body for sensation. So in the same way that we scroll through our news feeds right on our phone, think of yourself scrolling through the news feed in your body. What does your body want to tell you right now? Don't label the messages that come up, the sensations, good, bad, right, wrong. So just trusting in the process, whatever's coming up for you in this pose, even if it is frustration, that will be part of your practice today. Let's stay here for 1 more breath. And then we're going to roll our way up and out. Uncross the legs. So you're just going to have both legs extended out, feet in front of you, facing the front of your mat. We're now going to lean back. So we start to activate through the core. Chest is nice and open, arms stretched out in front of you. And see if you can pick the heels up off of the ground, bring the shins parallel to the ceiling for a little Navasana, boat pose. Maybe there's a few kind of shakes and wobbles here. 1 more breath in your Navasana. Keep the heart super open and lifted. And then we're going to cross one leg over the other, doesn't matter which one. Set the feet down, roll over the crossed legs, and crawl your way back into a tabletop position. So make any little tweaks and adjustments that you may need as you come into your tabletop. We want a nice spread through the hands, shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are stacked over the knees. Relax your feet. Now we're going to do some circular motion cat-cow. So when you're ready, you're going to bump your body over to the left, okay? We're keeping the arms straight, keeping the shoulders active. Bump over to the left. You're then going to drop, bending the elbows, drop the chest down towards where your left hand is. We then snake the chest over to the other side of the mat. We then once again extend the arms. This time we're rounding through the back. And then we go again. So inhale, bend the elbows, chest to the ground, snake it over to the other side. And then separate the shoulder blades as you see, curve the spine, and just keep tracing this pattern. Okay, so even if my instruction isn't quite landing, don't kind of overthink it, because really the rules of this movement is that there are no rules, okay? I want you to kind of paint your own canvas here. So just use my instruction as a loose guide. Close down the eyes and just lead with how this movement feels. So again, check in with what's happening in the hips and the lower back. Where can you feel the space being created? Where can you feel the energy flowing? Or maybe you notice somewhere it's getting stuck. And then let's switch direction. So without any hurry, honor this pace that you've created. So yeah, you're kind of connecting here with this animalistic movement. So what's your spirit animal this morning? Maybe you're a snake, maybe you're feeling a little bit more like sloth-like, whatever it may be. Go with it, have fun with it, get creative. We're going to go one more time around. And then bring yourself eventually back to that neutral tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes and just take a little rock forward and back on those feet. Just bringing some energy into the inner arches of the feet, padding down through all 10 toes. And we're building a little bit of momentum here. We're going to bring our way up into our downward facing dog. So stacking the shoulders back over the wrists. Step one is that we lift the knees and hover here, okay? I'd say that you're well used to this in your exercise classes. This is our bear pose or hovering tabletop, a great one for strengthening the shoulders, the quads, the core. And then from here, we're going to lift the hips up high. And this is where we don't want to get stuck. So you see here, my arms are still almost as if they're in a plank position. My shoulders are over the wrists. So what we want to do for our down dog is push everything back. So I'm going in slow-mo here. See, my shoulders are being pushed back. As my shoulders push back, my heels drop down, as does my head. Once I arrive, I'm going to shake out the head and the neck just to loosen out any tension there. And then we're going to begin to infuse the pose with some organic movement. So this time just bending one knee and then the other. Just kind of playing around with lowering those heels to the ground. And it doesn't matter if they don't make contact. It's just a gesture of the direction where they're heading. Make sure you're not holding the breath here. And just creating this full body experience within the pose. We're going to be here exploring for 3 more breaths. So just tune into your own tempo, your own rhythm of the breath. We'll be here for 1 more. And then when you're ready, we're going to reshift those shoulders forward. So they're kind of coming back as if they're in that plank position with everything nice and neatly stacked. You're then going to open the knees wide, drop the knees down to the edges of the mat, bring the big toes together to touch, sink the hips back towards the heels. And then once you get to this point, you just allow everything to begin to kind of melt down, sliding the hands forwards, dropping down the chest and the forehead. And taking a little rest here in your extended child's pose. So you can play around here with the positioning of the arms. Some people like to kind of splay the elbows a little bit more out to the side. You could also play around with, instead of having the forehead down, some people like to turn the head to one side. So find the right fit for you. And then if you haven't yet, this is a nice opportunity to take the gaze inwards, connect with the meditation that this pose has to offer you. So using this pose to kind of plug in and recharge, gather your thoughts, your energy. We're going to be here for 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, starting to exit the child's pose, lifting the hips away from the heels. You're coming back towards that tabletop. And then return to your downward facing dog. We're just using it as a little pit stop this time. We won't be there too long. So remember, the entrance is key when we come into the downward facing dog. So kind of fine tuning that. So lifting the knees, then lifting the hips. Just don't rush your way in. Slowly push everything back. Let the head be heavy. Let's take one of those cleansing breaths here. Just as a little reset button. We're then going to walk the hands and the feet towards the center of the mat. Okay, so just nice and slowly. And then once you find your feet underneath the hips, feet are hip width apart, you're going to slide the hands either to the tops of the thighs or the shins, just whatever feels best. Inhale, lengthen the spine. So create this flat back position here. Keep the gaze down, neck in line with the spine. And then as you exhale, bend the knees and just kind of pull the torso in towards the front of the legs as you forward fold. Let the head hang heavy, chin to the chest. And let's play between those 2 points. So we inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back position. Exhale, hands to the calves. Pull yourself in, drop the head heavy, forward fold. Let's do 3 more of those. This should feel really good for those hamstrings. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. If you need to bend the knees as you fold, then bend the knees generously. 2 more. Use the breath as your guide. Last one. And fold. And now from here, release the hands to the mat. Start to bend both of the knees as you lower yourself down into a seat. Nice soft landing. You're then going to shuffle forwards and just start to roll your way down to lay flat on the ground. As you arrive on the ground, hug the knees in to the chest. And with your hands just holding onto the knees, you're just going to swim the knees around in these slow circles. So again, just if there's anything kind of stuck, stagnant, heavy, hiding in the hip space, using this movement to just create space for release. And then go the opposite direction. One more time around, big smooth circles. And then from here, you're going to bring the feet to the mat, bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall down to the ground and then place your hands either over the belly, the hips. You might have one more up towards the rib cage. Just placing your hands with intention, with love over your body. And we'll rest up here. Now, if for any reason this pose is a little too much and it doesn't feel restful at all, then you can just lay completely flat with the legs extended. So I invite you to take this more traditional Shavasana, if that's calling your name. Or if the hips are requiring and feeling for a little more opening, then you can finish here with this Supta Baddha Konasana reclined butterfly pose. So make a yogic choice here. Take what you need. Make a body-based decision. So just a baby Shavasana today. Keeping our yoga short and sweet. But trusting in this practice. Trusting in the divine timing of it all. And maybe not every moment clicked and resonated. But trust that whatever came up was meant for you. The next message that you need is always right where you are. So just be here 100%. Reminding yourself that we don't always have to be doing. Sometimes being is just plenty. With every exhale, soften some more. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, keep your eyes closed, stay where you are, and just start to wiggle the toes. And then do the same with the fingers, bringing some life and energy into the hands. And then just start to find any stretches and movement that feel natural. You might arch the back and take a full body stretch. You might start to dip the knees side to side. So again, no rules here. Throw away the script and just have a little playful wriggle around. And then eventually you might roll on over to lay on one side. And just kind of pausing here in this little cozy cocoon. And then when you're ready, from here we push our way up, returning to find a comfortable seated position of your choice. And check back in here, compassionate self-inquiry. How do I feel? Maybe you notice something shifted. Maybe you feel just a little bit lighter. Maybe you feel a little bit taller. Whatever it may be. Honor yourself for showing up today, for tending to your well-being on your own terms. And know that this yoga, it's a practice, it's not a performance. So it's kind of the art of becoming your own muse. Yoga reminds us that we can reinvent, recreate ourselves, start over as many times as we need. Every time we come to the mat, we come to the meditation, to the poses, we're kind of adding more layers and color to that spirit canvas until we kind of like what we see and feel. So I thank you for sharing your time, your mood, and your energy here this morning. Thank you to the powerhouse, Gemma Cartwright, for having me be a part of her world. So we're going to close our class with one final cleanse of the breath. Together, let's take a deep breath in and then let it go. Thank you. So I have no idea if that was just a party for one, but I'm hoping that that has worked. That's my first time here going live in the app. So fingers crossed that went smoothly. But like I said at the beginning, if it didn't, then it's a learning curve. So there's a lesson in everything, no matter what. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from you guys, and know that each week I really do like to kind of mix it up. Yoga is such a rich practice that, trust me, if you've been to yoga and you're like, it's boring, then you just haven't been to the right classes, because it's just the opposite of that. Okay. Yay, I didn't even know I could receive comments on here, so that's amazing. Hello, Audrey, Louise. Yay, my body needs this. Yeah, that's it. And when we hold the poses, you're really like opening up this conversation with your body, and you'll receive the messages that you need. So I'm just looking at the time, and typical me, it was longer than 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop waffling. Mwah. Love you and leave you, and hope to see you again very shortly. Thank you.